And to you I say hello and welcome to the Field of Streams, where I, your host, Janeen McCrae, bring you the tiny thoughts that stream from my brain and present them to you with such quiet reverence. It's as though I'm letting you in on a secret and ancient ninja move that debilitates your opponent with the simple flutter of an eyelash and a raised eyebrow, if you know what I mean. Wink wink. I can't promise you much with these weekly innuendos, but I can promise you this. I won't keep you long. A promise like that deserves a follow, don't you think? Tap that follow button. Every time you do, a writer gets their wings. Before I jump into this week's stream, just a warning for sensitive ears. I say the word S-H-I-T a lot in this. So if that bugs you, you have my permission to evacuate from this episode. And that's the first pun of today. But if me saying the word S-H-I-T repeatedly excites you, let's go. Today's missive was inspired by my own incredible and natural ability to make crap. Artistic doo-doo. First drafts of pure turbulence and magnificence. Magnificence. Stinky, smelly. You get it? There's another pun. There's so many puns. Actually, no, that's a lie. It was inspired by a story I read about the Roomba being trained to vacuum around doggy poo-poo caca. I don't own a dog, and having grown up on a farm, all dogs were outside dogs, never inside. And so I have never heard of this problem. But apparently the issue can be succinctly put thusly. When little fluff bucket poochie-woo lovey-dove poops on the floor, helpful robot vacuum comes in, then smears it all over said floor in a sort of Jackson Pollocky with undie skid marks kind of way, and chaos ensues. Is that visual too much? That might be a little too much. Anyway, the story, which I have helpfully put a link to in the description, digs into how the engineers over at Roomba built over 100 physical models of dog poop scenarios to train the iRobot to see the canine gravy trains and hit the skids pronto. So many puns. But enough of the scatological dung heaps. Let's get back to the first draft talk and making crap as an artist. You want to know how to polish a first draft turd? I have no idea, but the basic premise of this one is that yes, all first drafts are crap. But where do you go from there? Also, just a quick note, stay tuned to the end of my dramatic reading as there were a couple of footnotes to this piece and I talk about them afterwards. But for now, without any further half flushes, sorry, but toilet humour is the highest form of the art, here is the post, revved up like a deuce. It's shit. Real talk. You made shit. Sit with it. Smell it. Accept it. This is part of the process. You're gonna make shit. Sometimes, if you're eating right. If you're moving enough cultural fibre through your system. Dookie, turd, a quality jobby, pure ordure. Sometimes the shit that comes out of you will astound you. The smell will take your breath away. You'll look at your newly formed creative caca and gape. That came out of me? So pleased. Shut the gape. Don't summon a crowd to marvel at the majesty of it. Don't point to it and say, "Behold my fantastical feces." Trust me, if you dare to let that Bondi cigar out of your toilet brain and into the social sea, people will find it all on their own. Your floater will be famous. Ridiculed shit. Public pollution from your released ebullition. Fact. Shit bombs. You might be tempted to train yourself to Roomba around it. Don't. Shit is made to be spread throughout your brain's living room, to create a rich, fertilizing field of possibility, to allow other things to sprout. This is Thinky Stinker Culture 101, and that's the trick, the kernel of the job, literally. To step in that bucket of feculence and track that shit around on your creative carpet. Rattle the walls of your thunderbox and get to work. But I don't make shit. Yes, you precious naive little jewel, you bloody well do. All the time. But I don't smell anything. I'm not surprised. I can barely make out the shape of you through that pyroclastic cloud of ego dairy air fresh, trademarked. What's that you're whispering over there? But that won't hurt so much. It has to be a diamond. Nope. Trust me. It's shit. In a shit field. Remember? Covered in fertilizer? Thinky stinker culture 101 at work? Warning. Watch out for crafty little plops. Sometimes shit'll strap on a pair of googly eyes, swirl itself up and say, I'm not shit. Look into my googly eyes. You are getting sleepy. Hold its googly-eyed gaze. Sniff the air. Trust your spidey shit sense. Pull out the comparison chart of previous evacuations. The more casts you take of the twisted turds you make, the easier they'll be to identify. Compare it against the renderings. Yep, shit. To the fertilizer field you go, poogly googly. You need more wordworms to work you over. Okay, enough. Writing this has become a strain. Sorry. And my ego derriere fresh trademark cloud is rapidly dissipating, so I'll end this on a high note of coprolitic cliché. The first draft of anything is always shit. Always. Don't kid yourself that it's anything but a work in progress. Then progress the work. In the meantime, tape these words to your dunning wall. And I quote, the first draft is shit. The second draft is looking for the sprouts. Everything after that is harvest. End quote. Now, go make some delicious Scat coffee. And there you have it, this week's episode. Now, before I do my usual outro, I mentioned there were footnotes to this, and also a couple that I didn't footnote. For example, Bondi Cigar is an Australianism for a poop floating off the shore of Bondi Beach. Just a little cigar. What else? A dunny, obviously, Australian toilet. I don't know if you realise this, I am Australian. I did just become an American, but I am originally from down under. No. Anyway, the footnotes. At one point I mentioned a trademarked product that I made up called Ego Derriere Fresh. Trademark. The footnote just gave the tagline for any advertising moving forward, should it ever make it to market. Ego Derriere Fresh. Closing lids on ids since 2009. Because, you know, your ego and your id. Can you tell I used to work on Madison Avenue? Okay, moving on. Next footnote was a warning. Watch out for crafty little plops. The footnote for this one read, sometimes shit slips by. Things don't turn out the way you wanted. Except you made shit and that people had to smell it. Now move that sad little jobby to your shelf of stinkers. Note the shape and bouquet. Process your grief. And then promptly flush it from your mind. No one sets out to make stinkers. Sometimes there's just too much corn in your diet. Then there was a line, trust your spidey shit sense, which was the next footnote, about how to know when something is bad. It reads, for some of us, it's really easy. We think everything we do is shit. I'm in that camp. Look at this, P.U. I am the making shit goat. The trick is to not stop there and make that self-hate porta potty your new permanent dwelling. Get to gardening. So I guess I'm just saying, if you sense that it's shit, don't get too caught up in it. Move on. I'm always saying move on. And the final footnote, which was connected to the final line, now go make some delicious Scat coffee, was a link to a story about the coffee that's made from coffee beans dug out of Scat, which was a big story at one point, or specifically civets feces. And the story was about how that's actually not so great for the civets. The link is in the description. Okay, that's it. School's out. I hope you'll come back for more next week. These little missives are designed to inspire creative folk to get out there and make something of their own. If you enjoyed this, let's face it, ramble, please follow the podcast and never miss an episode. And I'll leave you with this. Love what you love, and I'll see you out there making stuff.